let's jump right in the warm-up. Pulled it right off the trailer, made sure it fired up, make sure everything was tight, and then went straight to practice. I missed Friday practice, but I was able to make it out there for a Saturday warm-up, and for sure the track was extremely slippery. And this is my Achilles heel. That last turn all week, and it didn't matter what I did, it was an Achilles heel of mine. It felt like the kart was much quicker in this first fast section right here. The kart would just roll better, and I would just get through it much better than the most people around me. But then after this double left-hander, it looked like they were quicker on the back half of the track. So coming through here, kart was really well. In front of me is Tim Skinner. He is sliding all over the place. But then when we get to a tight section, my kart starts sliding all over the place as well. So grip level at this track is extremely, extremely low. When I mean low, real low. Here's a good passing zone if you send it in, but then the exit, you die on it. And then there's another tight section coming up here. So overall, pretty cool layout, fun track, some technical sections, some difficult sections. Overall, it was fun. It was real fast in the morning, which made me worry because, you know, when you're fast in practice, you usually suck when it comes to race time. And kart was feeling good, which had me worried too, because usually when the kart feels good, it's slow. But keeping the rear planted, that was the name of the game this weekend, and it was a hard one because the game was real tough this weekend for sure. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. It's so loud. They're racing behind us. I'm walking my way over to driver's meeting. First morning warm-up went well. Kart felt really good. I was really happy with it. Maybe a little bit too much rear grip with the new tires. I'm kind of worried, so slight adjustment. Then basically just send it in a gear change because I'm happy with the gear, but I don't know. Let's try something else out. Need a little bit more. Todd and Dan and Ryan. It's close. Everybody's real close. It's gonna be a good one. Thanks for watching. Subscribe, like, and share, guys. Qualifying, I went out and you know, I just screwed up every lap. I went off into the dirt going into his exit, which messed up this final lap. And then like lap 2 was a really good fast lap, and then I screwed up and went off the track on the right-hander. So qualifying was not one of my best. Kart felt really good, like it had a lot of grip in it. The sliding was not as bad as before, but it was still sliding the rear around, which made me worry because basically I had the kart as gripped up as I could. I was running the way I grip up the car is slam the rear, short little hubs, slam the front end, and add a whole bunch of caster to it. So usually it works. It was not working. It maybe want me to think that I should have swapped axle, or add some teeth. I was just all over the place this weekend. You know, this track had me confused, and I really needed that Friday day of testing to nail it down. But overall, P6, not bad. Field was really tight. Well, guys, qualifying the books, did not put a good lap together. I can't get out of the last turn really well, so I definitely struggled. P6, the whole field's really tight. Congratulations to Tim Skinner putting on the pole. So it's definitely going to be a really tight race, but we're going to give it everything we got. And hopefully start moving forward. That's what we need to do. Get towards the front for sure. We still got 2 heat races in the final, so tire wear, be careful with the tires, and then try to move as far forward as we can. Heat 1, starting P6, the goal was to finish at least 4th or 3rd. Shoot, if I got the top 3, I'll be happy as heck. But starting right behind Joey, and then from there, you know, this is where I finally get to see where everybody's gear's at, because I wasn't even able to do that. Pushing Joey up, try to get him past Todd. Todd does a good job holding it on the outside and sliding in front of Joey. And then no harm, no foul. I didn't gain any positions. I didn't lose any positions on the start. But definitely, I noticed right away, I think I had a lot more top end than everybody else. Kart was handling well. I just think I was off on gearing a little bit. Due to the fact when we hit the straightaway, The VP motor was pulling like a freight train on the top end, so it was really strong. I was happy with it. So now it's just to get the cart under me, but that right hander to this left hander, the cart would just slide so bad. I could not get that thing to stay planted. So it was a struggle. It's the first time in my first run on the MGM that I was baffled. I was struggled. I always say when the rubber comes in, the cart gets fast. Without the rubber in, the cart struggles. And it was very apparent that this track was a struggle track. I could not hold that corner flat. I was losing the rear on it. I was just losing the rear everywhere I went. I would have to keep a real tight line. I would have to back up the corners a lot. I mean, it was really difficult to add grip to the cart. I didn't swap the axle yet. I was still riding that axle I run, so that had something to do with it. I saw the opening. I was sitting behind them for a while. I thought it was a little bit quicker, so I shoved it in on Kevin. And then my next goal was to try to track down Todd. And then Tim was just quick, man. His car was just working. He put on those new tires, and that's all his cart needed. And then my goal here was I needed to finish in front of Todd or get in front of him for the championship. So my goal now is any moment, any opening, I was going to send it in. And this was a section that was much quicker. Here I backed up the corner, got a much better run out. I'm in the toe, and you know how he does this little swoop? Once he swoops out, I stayed low. We go side by side. He stays on the outside. Then we go side by side on this S, and I hook his rear bumper. Once I hook his rear bumper, I release, and he overshoots the corner, and I'm able to get him on the side. But then Pinkston on the side next to me, he's able to get a really good run up. So I'm on the inside. I have this next corner, but I know on the X on this left hand, I'm going to be struggling bad. And this is where Dan gets a good run on me on the outside. I keep it tight, and he slots in front of me, and I know that Todd's right behind me. So these are the three in the championship fighting it out, and it was a really good, fair dog fight. We were beating and banging, but after the race, we all shook hands. It was a really good one. Same thing here. Right when Dan opened up, I shoved it on the inside. I really wanted to finish in front of these guys to hold it over, but it was a hard run, and I was on my toes the whole time. And at this point, it's like a tactician run. We were not going to catch Tim, so we were just going to keep trying to pass each other every lap. And in the final lap, I was just thinking, where were they quicker than me, and how wide can I make this MGM? Well, when I don't want to get past, the cart becomes 20 carts. All right, I cover the whole damn track, man. And it becomes like a shifter line, or it becomes like semi-middle in the road line. Like anything I can do to stay in front, I was doing. I was using all the tricks of the trade. Luckily behind me, they started getting into it as well, so it gave me a slight breather room coming up to the section I was really worried about. I had enough of a gap because Ron got into a mix, and then mixed up with Dan and Todd. I just covered the middle of the lane. I didn't feel any pressure from behind. I looked back, nobody was there, so I was able to swing back out, take the normal line, and lucky enough, I was able to end P2. Good run, felt good, but I definitely did not have the pace or speed to run for the win, and I needed to find something, and something quick. Heat number 2, starting right on the outside, and I don't get the best of starts. The inside row gets a really, really good start off the line, and then I slot back into third place. It was apparent that I might have still missed the gearing because I didn't change the gearing from heat 1 to heat 2, and I noticed the difference when I get behind Todd down the straightaway. I noticed that these guys were on the limiter a lot earlier than I was, and I had a lot more top end, and I should have just changed the gearing. Chassis setup wise, I took a little bit of caster out of it to get the rear end to try to settle down, but that didn't help at all. I was all over the place still. It just came into this tight section. Here the cart would do really well. I'd get a really good run, but from here on out, this right-hander, man, it just kept sliding. I would just slide and slide. You can see Dan start pulling away, and my cart never was gripping up. I think it's the only Achilles heel of the MGM is when there's no rubber it is actually difficult to put rubber in. And I still had not done a swap on the gear change. So Todd had gotten by me, the top two had checked out. I made another mistake, and then here I make a huge mistake. Kevin gets on my inside, I misjudge it, boom, almost go over, run it right off the track, fall back from fourth all the way to God knows what. And then from there, it was damage limitation control. Try to get any position I could, which is the crazy move I did on James Insco. He was struggling all day as well with grip. And then on this right-hander, I just sent it in full slide lock craziness, trying to grab an extra position just so I can start one spot forward. It was just going backwards. It was not good. So I had to do a couple changes for the final. I don't know what I was going to do to make it work. I definitely did a gear change, but then after that, it was another tweak of the chassis, and hopefully that was going to be enough to bring it in. The tire drop off is huge, and I was just doing everything I could to hang on for dear life. So guys, racing, that's what it comes down to. Heat 1 went well. Went from 6th to 2nd. Good battle. It was a hard battle between Dan, Todd, and myself. We are really duking it out, but it's good hard racing. I loved it. And then for Heat 2, small incident with Kevin. Dropped me back to, I don't know, 8th or 9th for the finals. Damage limitations. Hopefully some of the changes I made to the kart. Kind of chasing my tail a little bit. Slight gear change, and then full send mode, and we'll see how it goes. Overall, super happy with everything. Gotta thank, super happy with everything that's been going on. I didn't take apart the carb. Maybe I should have because I went through the grass, but hopefully everything's good to go. Thanks to VP, Victor Peters, Smoking Gears, CR Custom Helmets, Podium Products, MGM Chassis. You know the deal, guys. Let's see if we can see what happens after the finals. If you see me crying, it's probably not tears of joy. For the final, starting P7, I know I can get up to the front quick. It's just getting up to the front and making sure I finish in front of Todd. That was the whole goal. Finish in front of Todd for the championship, and if Dan doesn't win, I lock up second. But I would really want the win, and then make Todd sweat on the final day. So we go side by side. I gain a position on the start. So now we're looking good. We're sitting around P5, P6. We got Joey in front, Tim, Pinkston, and then Todd. So I'm sitting P5 at the moment, and I'm just trying to get as quickly as possible to the front, and I don't want them to break away. And fastest kart on track was Tim. Tim had that kart dialed in, but I couldn't run his setup. It was just not working for me. Because for this session, I copied exactly his setup, and it felt a little bit better, but honestly, I was just missing a hair. Honestly, just a hair I was missing when it came down to it. So I get out, get a good draft, get right on Joey's side, make the move, and then from here on out, I just could not close the gap. Todd was out in front. Tim was just buying his time. The kart felt way better with Tim's setup in, but it definitely needed one change, which I was able to do for the next round. So it took me a day to figure out the setup, but once I finally got it down, the kart was a rocket. What I mean, the MGM had its only weakness. It really is not a weakness. It just takes a little bit of tuning, and I missed a day of tuning. So yeah, that's my excuse, and that's why I'm going to stick with it. But I got to watch a good race in between these three. Never got close enough to really do anything. It looked like Dan's kart fell off a little bit in the middle of the race, and then at the end of the race, the kart came back alive, and he was able to run down the top two. So that was really impressive of him. An amazing run by him. Mine just did not have it. Last lap coming up, they had just pulled away. I was hoping they were going to battle it out. Tim just sat behind Todd, and then Dan and Tim start getting into it, which gave Todd a slight gap, but not enough to walk away with it. But nevertheless, it was enough for Todd to hold off for the win. I think Tim ended up second, Dan ended up third. So that locked the top three of the championship. Congratulations to Todd for the CKNA South. Locked me in at second and locked Dan in at third. So really good year, really good battling it out with those guys. Had a blast. We still had one more day. I was going to do a change. I'll let you guys know what it was on the next episode. And overall, thanks to everybody. Thanks to support. MGM, VP, Smoker Gears. It was a good run. Just didn't have it today. But we come back stronger and better next time. Catch you guys on track.